In a 10 dimensions update. The last time a new dimension was added to Minecraft was the 1.0.0 update that introduced the Ender Dragon and the final boss fight. Other than that, we've had no new dimension in the base game. I mean, sure, we've had mods like the Twilight Forest and the Aether, which are seemingly included in every mod pack ever, or at least the Twilight Forest is, but they're included in all those mod packs because exploring new dimensions is part of the excitement of a sandbox game. Mods like Mistcraft let you create your own dimensions using specific features, and that was insanely cool. And while we don't need something that's that extreme, another dimension would still be incredible, and something that would surely be talked about when we haven't gotten one in 10 years, and Mojang needs to do something big to be able to top adding the most powerful mob. Maybe they just add the Skulk dimension. And at 9, inventory management. Leaving chests aside, Minecraft doesn't really offer any reliable ways to store, manage, or carry your items. And considering how the game has more, like, actual things that you can hold than seemingly any other sandbox game, you definitely need a way to sort through the tons and tons of crap you will get while trying to find one diamond. It's possible that the Minecraft 1.2 update will actually bring a bundle-like item that will allow you to store a group of items within your existing inventory. And I mean, like, yeah, we have shulker boxes, but that just helps you move large quantities from one location to another, and it's not really meant for inventory management. Minecraft could also introduce a mechanic that allows the player to expand their default inventory. Maybe a leather backpack could be a reliable way to introduce this feature, and many other games offer similar solutions. The bundles that were teased still have yet to be implemented, and even when they are, they're going to be fairly limited. Whereas something like just being able to open a shulker box in your inventory would be a huge help, so that, you know, we don't have to place one down every time we need to just grab one item. It would be especially useful like underwater when you don't really have any blocks around to place the shulker on. Yeah, that'd be easy. And at 8, the forest update. Minecraft's forests were introduced in the very first version of the game, and they haven't really changed since. There have been updates to literal hell before an update for the forests. Even swamps got an upgrade before forests, the most fundamental of all Minecraft biomes. And while we did get bees, that's it. That's the only thing really that's been added to the forests. But I and plenty of others think that they can do more. One question that I've been wanting answered is what happened to the original villages. You know, the ones from before Minecraft's 1.14 Village and Pillage update. I mean, there was like the perfect opportunity to turn these into ruined villages that we end up seeing in the game, and then give us a story that explains how the old villages got overrun, and then they had to go make a new village or have one made for them with better defenses or just better architecture in general so that they would be more protected, but the zombie villages now are the same as the current ones. The way to really remedy this in my mind is to just put those old villages in forests as maybe even a smaller version and call them overgrown villages where nature has kind of taken them back. There are no structures that generate in forests, and after the first night, forests just become a biome you travel through to get to cooler things. Something small like this could kind of bring these forests back to life, no pun intended. They could even include different variants like they did with jungles. You can have like an enchanted forest, a dark forest, or a dead forest. You know, you get that idea. Dark could be where mobs can spawn no matter the light level. Enchanted forest could give you like a regeneration or some small ability or buff, and dead forest can just be like no leaves. And like low saturation grass, you know? Or maybe that's too close to Herobrine. And at 7, Herobrine. Herobrine has been a Minecraft meme and a legend for over 10 years. As long as Minecraft has been around basically, so has Herobrine. The creepypasta character has become synonymous with the game despite never actually being in the game, and that's something to admire. Sure, there have been subtle references to him in update logs saying removed Herobrine, but after something as big as adding the strongest monster to the game and then splitting what had planned to be one update into 3, Mojang needs to do something big. So why not add the most iconic fan-made video game character of literally all time to Minecraft? I mean, there are already mods for it, okay? And you don't really need to do anything big. Maybe just subtle things that eventually lead to an actual Herobrine encounter. It could be an April Fool's update, it could be real, it doesn't really matter to me. I just think that it would be cool to see something like this be added to the game, even if it's just for a day. And at 6, jungle update. Well, jungles did get a bit of a sprucing up, no pun intended, with the bamboo forests. These guys could still do with a bit more love, and plenty of Minecrafters agree, since I've been seeing jungle update ideas all over my Instagram feed recently for some reason. Before 1.18, okay, you had jungles, jungle hills, modified jungle edge, and bamboo jungle hills. That was it. But then after 1.18, you also have sparse jungle. And that's it. Jungle temples can only spawn in the normal jungle biomes on Bedrock and also in the bamboo jungles on Java Edition, but other than that, what really do these have aside, like, what purpose do these serve other than, like, giving you cocoa beans and then maybe a parrot? Okay, other than that, we tend to try to avoid these things because they're just so difficult to navigate. There's a reason that nobody in Hermitcraft Season 7 built their mega base in the jungle despite multiple people having their starter base there, okay? It's just not practical. So, how about we get a little something more for these guys while also adding something else? Because a whole jungle update at this point might be a little much for the jungle when there's a much better option on the table for what you could do with an update. Halfway through into number 5, Redstone. The Minecraft Redstone update was actually Minecraft version 1.5. Yeah, this version is what added realms, nether quartz, hoppers, redstone blocks, daylight sensors, trapped chests, comparators, and metal pressure plates, TNT minecarts, and actually, interestingly enough, the actual nether brick item that you get from smelting netherrack. However, while this was a major update for Redstone and was incredibly cool, it was also released in 2013, nearly 10 years ago. Just over 9 years ago, we got the Redstone update, and we haven't really gotten any updates since. Sure, we've gotten some new Redstone blocks like the Skulk Sensor and Observer, but that's just 2 things. Redstone could really do with another update, and it's a place that they could add the Copper Golem in as well, since I mean, while yes, the allay is cool, Copper Golems just seem so much cooler and cuter. Okay, the allay, at least in my mind, are like the gold diggers of Minecraft. They'll follow you around if you give them an item, but after a time, if you don't give them another one, they're gonna stop following you, okay? The Copper Golem just wants to push buttons, and you know what? I can relate to that. Plus, we could also do with a little bit more Redstone stuff, even if it's to make things simpler for those who want to get into Redstone but are intimidated by it. So yeah, that could help. Well, I mean, like, don't make it simple enough to, like, for me to make a 16-bit computer in Minecraft, because, like, God knows I'm not even gonna try that, but still, like, jeez, come on. In it for the desert update. Minecraft's deserts are, well, deserted, okay? A desert pyramid, otherwise called the desert temple, is a sandstone structure that sometimes generates in deserts where, you know, you can find hidden chests containing loot, but it's also protected by a TNT trap. Being introduced in version 1.3.1, nothing has really been added to deserts since. This is the update that added the first version of villager trading. It also added emeralds, a better creative menu, and adventure mode. Yeah, 1.3.1 was released on August 1st, 2012, and since then, deserts haven't really been touched. It's been almost 10 years to the day for these dry guys. And while yes, deserts are meant to be, well, barren deserts, the least we could do was show them a little bit more love. Okay, we have fossils that can randomly generate underground in piles of gravel, so why not have them be a little bit more common in deserts, or maybe slightly exposed in deserts, you know? Why not add an oasis sub-biome for just that little bit of extra life? I go to a desert to find a cactus, maybe a temple, and then maybe the odd village or a dungeon who was close enough to the surface that the sand collapsed in on itself. And then I'm gone. Like, I don't stay there. The only other reason to go is a large quantity of sand, but if you're not making a giant build on an SMP, why would you do that? Okay? Other than that, we don't really care for deserts, so show them some love, okay? You gave jungles a bit of an update. Help out my deserted boys, you know? Help him get his sands wet, you know what I mean? Okay, it's been a while for him. 10 years. Getting close to the end into number 3, storage. Minecraft storage could really use an update as well. Like, sure, we have a few storage containers in the game and chests have been improved since now we don't have to space them out every other block, but currently it just feels like it can still be improved. Chests especially now, considering how they're the least useful storage container in the game. Sure, they're simple to make, but barrels are actually cheaper in both versions. To make 3 chests in Minecraft, you need 24 wooden planks, regardless of the edition. In Java Edition, 3 barrels will actually cost you 3 planks less, since you turn 3 of them into 6 slabs, and then it's 2 slabs per barrel. And in Bedrock, it's even cheaper than that, since instead of planks, you use sticks. So 3 barrels in Bedrock Edition is going to cost you 18 planks instead of 24 or even 21. And not only that, but barrels also hold the same amount as a single chest. They may not be able to combine, which may cause some inconvenience, but they also don't need to have a transparent block above them for them to actually work, resulting in a more efficient use of space. So yeah, Minecraft chests or storage in general could really use an update, even if it's just like buttons to sort chests, like the inventory tweaks mod or something, really. Because like honestly, chests need something to be able to get their edge back, because at this point they're useless. Unless you're crafting shulker boxes. It's true. But ultimately, in number 2, spectator mode. We can actually confirm that a recent beta and preview for Minecraft Bedrock Edition contained early functionality for spectator mode, which is a much wanted feature that somehow hasn't been added to Bedrock Edition as of yet. This will launch after the 1.19 update, because you know, I mean, the 1.19 came out, I think it's come out for Bedrock, but they'll be testing it further in upcoming betas and previews, which is in essence the snapshots of Bedrock Edition for all my Java players out there. I don't know why these things are so different. I mean, like, I don't get it, especially with this, because like spectator mode was added accidentally in 1.19 betas, but I don't know why it's not there yet. It's already on Java Edition and has been for a while, but will soon come out on Bedrock? Like, somehow it wasn't ready for the 1.19 update. And as Mojang said in a statement, quote, "The first iteration will not be finished in time for 1.19, so we will be moving it to an experimental toggle in an upcoming beta. Until we have a more polished version for you, please consider that any contents or maps built on this feature will not be supported, as this feature will change and evolve." I mean, I don't get it, okay? But it may not be ready for the 1.20 update, but there is a good chance that it will make it in. I mean, it's confirmed to come to the game eventually. How it's not in the game already, I don't know, okay? Maybe it's a conflict with consoles or Pocket Edition, but I can't see how that would happen. But anyway, screw Bedrock. And finally, hit number 1, an end update. While we did get a pseudo end update in 1.9, adding the additional end islands with an elytra along with the end cities and shulker boxes, but other than those 4 features, it didn't really do much. So a full end update would be very much appreciated, especially with some of the concepts that I've been seeing online, particularly 2 of them. First by IamPixel on Instagram, with a redesigned main island including an updated ender dragon, exit portal, and obsidian pillars. They also suggest a dragon designed elytra, as well as a new ender stray mob and a retextured enderman. They also suggest chorus trees and ruined end ships. These are incredibly cool and actually do seem to fit pretty well with the Minecraft story that they're trying to tell. The other one though is from Animal Mace on Instagram and is what made me want to do this list. This update would add a rare crystal biome to the end that contained void crystals, kind of like amethyst geodes in the overworld. You'd be able to open shulkers in your inventory, which takes care of the inventory management issues that we complain about. They also would add craftable link portals using void crystals that would be like a quick tube system that transports items and players, which would be incredibly expensive, understandably, but also very cool, and it's something that I've been seeing requested quite a bit. Ender whales that could also fly through the sky that you can ride, and if you do ride them, they'd take you back to the main island without you needing to guide them, which honestly would be extremely beneficial, especially if you run out of rockets or had like a near destroyed elytra. You wouldn't have to take the plummet to your death, especially if you're in hardcore mode, okay? And I mean, it would take a while for the whales to fly because it's a freaking whale in the sky, but it would still be incredible. Whale lords. Yeah, Yogscast fans know it. In at 10 difficulty. Minecraft does have quite a few difficulties, the most popular ones being hardcore and peaceful, because nobody else really thinks or cares to talk about the other 3. However, these difficulties could really use an update, or at least the difficulty system in general could use kind of an addition. Whether it be a separate selector or not, I think that there should be an option at least to use a better AI system. Maybe something a little more advanced for difficulty rather than just making mobs do more damage when the difficulty is higher. Maybe we can implement the stalking creepers mod to a certain extent. I remember there was like a possible feature for 1.17 that included like creepers running away from other creepers that were about to explode, or was that a mod? At this point I can't remember, but something like that would be cool as well. Maybe skeletons also taking cover instead of just backing away when we got too close, or spiders intentionally jumping off of walls to get at us instead of just climbing them by accident or to get to us, you know, because like if it's just running at me I can just hit it with a sword. I think that some AI improvements like this that could be enabled or disabled at will would add a fresh new element to the game and wouldn't really change the game that much, especially if it was optional. Maybe something for the veteran players, you know? In at 9, survival. Minecraft does definitely have a survival mode, but somehow our character doesn't ever need to drink water, or literally drink anything in order to survive. In hard difficulty, sure, we can actually starve to death, but other than that, you won't get killed by starving. And sure, I mean Minecraft is a game of blocks, it's not supposed to be realistic, but maybe some additional survival elements could make the game more exciting. I mean honestly, getting large quantities of water isn't really an issue anymore, especially with dripstone and cauldrons, well because of infinite water sources, but especially with like dripstone and cauldrons, because if you add the requirement to boil the water before you can drink it, putting the cauldron over a fire or a campfire would work perfectly fine, and then you could just grab as many water bottles as you wanted. I mean, like, we have them in the game already, right? Might as well let them be useful without requiring a potion in them. I'm not saying like go as hardcore as like RL Craft or Skyrim Survival Mode or Frostfall. I'm just saying maybe having another need would make things feel a little more interesting. You could add a canteen or something that holds multiple servings of water, since we can carry like a stack of steak down into a cave. And I mean, like, this is the perfect kind of game to add another need to, since we already have to worry about eating and it wouldn't really change that much. And at 8, Yummy Tummy. Yes, I named this one the Yummy Tummy update intentionally because I thought it was hilariously cringe in the best way. While having to drink water could be beneficial to add another element to survival Minecraft, there is an easier solution that would give players even more variety and other aspects of the game to explore. My sister is very fond of the Pam's Harvest Craft mod. In fact, if I want her to play any mod pack that I make, I have to include this mod, otherwise she just won't play it. And then even when I do include it, she doesn't play the pack anyway. Yeah, it's a great sister, right? Well, maybe we wouldn't need that mod if Minecraft updated their foodstuffs. Currently, there are 40 consumable items in Minecraft, not all of which are actually helpful, and they're all required for a balanced diet advancement. But, why not make that advancement an entire branch of advancements and make food in Minecraft a little more interesting? I mean, there are things that you can make, like various soups, cookies, and pumpkin pie, but that's really all the foodstuffs that you can craft, and cake. Or I guess technically cook. I mean, I guess that's the right term. Bread is literally just a loaf of bread, so why not make it possible to use that and make a sandwich? Something that would be more beneficial than just carrying around a stack of damn steaks or golden carrots. Cause like, it would need to be worth it to do that. Because once you have a steady supply of emeralds and some farming villagers, you completely remove the whole aspect of hunger from the game. At that point, you're just eating to regenerate health. So why not make it a little bit more exciting? And it's 7, proper combat. Right now, combat on Minecraft Bedrock Edition and Java is drastically different. The most common example of this is that how Bedrock seemingly didn't get a combat update. Like, they got 1.9 and End Cities and Elytra, but you can still spam attack. You can keep clicking, okay? But in Java, you have to wait after each attack, and then if you time it right, you get slightly more damage. Sweeping attacks are also exclusive to Java Edition because of this, and so are combat-friendly axes. Well, friendly is a loose term. And so are more damaging axes, I guess. Because of these differences, though, it becomes almost impossible for players to actually enjoy both editions of the game without learning separate combat mechanics. And trust me, I know this for a fact. Having to figure out Bedrock Edition just made me sure that I prefer Java. And hopefully, the next update can put an end to that, because having to crouch to use a shield is ridiculous, okay? I know it's because it's supposed to be controller friendly, okay, but if I'm using a mouse, let me right click, okay, or let me keybind the thing, let me change the key binding, okay, because limiting me for using a PC is stupid. But you can get other editions if you have Bedrock or Game Pass now, so please, just get Java, okay, and then join my server. It's a long story, but it has proximity chat. And at 6, Equalizer. I'm sure basically all of you know that there are 2 different versions of Minecraft, and I'm sure that for some reason, most of you play on the Bedrock edition for whatever reason. Be it on console, PC, mobile, or through Game Pass. I don't get why you would do it, but nevertheless, it's still a thing. However, some of you may not know that there are actually distinct different features across the different versions of the game. For example, in the last part, I mentioned that Bedrock never got a real combat update, but also in Bedrock Edition, you can waterlog pistons, leaves, and more. Well, I mean, you can waterlog leaves in Java Edition now, but that's aside the point. You can place redstone on piston backs along with being able to push tile entities, meaning that things like chests, furnaces, and dispensers can be pushed by pistons. Things with an inventory in Bedrock can actually be moved, but not in Java. And there are features in Java not present in Bedrock. The idea with this Equalizer update, though, would be to bring the same features into both versions. Conflicting features would have to have one of them removed, obviously, which could be done by a voting, similar to how they would do the mob votes in the past, and it would really limit the discrepancies between versions, because if you see someone do something cool online, sometimes sometimes you just can't do it because they used a feature that you don't have access to, or it's different in your version. So yeah, bringing them together in that sense could end a lot of confusion, especially on TikTok, because there's so many stupid comments. Halfway through into number 5, unused mobs. Mojang has a history of creating conceptual mobs and then never implementing them into the game. For example, the Moo Bloom, hashtag rest in peace, or the Siren Head looking thing, okay? But you know what? What's truly tragic is the mobs that existed in the game but then don't have any purpose or spawn mechanic, or ones that just for some reason got removed. These unused mobs include the Giant, the Zombie Horse, the Elder Guardian Ghost, Illusioner, Killer Bunny, Jungle Villagers, and Swamp Villagers. Realistically, Minecraft 1.2 couldn't add all of these mobs into the game, but I mean, like, we still hope that at least some of these mobs can get at least a little bit of justice before something else. I mean, I don't know. But let's also remember the Fireflies, which were supposed to come in 1.19, but then didn't make the cut for some reason. And if you're curious, Swamp Villagers are actually unable to spawn naturally since a village can't really spawn in a swamp biome, but they can be bred from what I understand, at least, and so can Jungle Villagers. And the Elder Guardian Ghost is exclusive to Bedrock Edition. It has the same model and texture as an Elder Guardian, but it uses the player hurt sound when hit, and it has less health, and it's missing the back tail model for some reason. And then when spawned outside of water, it floats upwards until it despawns. It will also pass through blocks for some reason, but in my head it's probably just the mob that they used to get the graphic for when the Elder Guardian gives you mining fatigue. You know, the Elder Guardian when it like comes past your screen, that's probably what it was used for, and then they just didn't fully remove it. Maybe because they have to keep it in. In at 4, combat. The 1.9 combat update can honestly be named literally anything else and it would still make sense. Honestly, it was closer to an end update than an actual combat update. Out of the 22 new additions to the game in 1.9, only 6 of them were actually based on combat. Sure, some mechanics were changed, like the skeleton AI and sword blocking, but only 6 out of the 22 new features in the combat update were focused on combat. The majority of them were focused on the end, and with all of the combat snapshots we've been seeing on Reddit, 9 of them to be exact, we still haven't seen any of those features like axe combat enchantments being added into the game, which in my mind should have been added in the combat update, but I mean, like, they came up with it after. So why not make an actual combat update with these mechanics and maybe some additional ones thrown in there for good measure? The amount of times that I have tried to use a shield to block fall damage is embarrassing, but maybe I've seen Winter Soldier too many times. I mean, like, maybe they could throw in an enchantment for that, you know? You could just like land on your shield and you'd take like half damage, I don't know. Add the cleaving enchantment, add the weapon reach, and add the changes to the bow accuracy for if it's drawn longer than 3 seconds. Or maybe do 5, because like 3 seconds isn't really that bad. At this point, I feel like we deserve it after the last end update. Combat update. My bad. Getting close to the end, in number 3, Emerald Tools. Emeralds, because of all the trading mechanics with the villagers, actually work as Minecraft's unofficial currency, but unfortunately, that's the only purpose they serve other than beacons. Even though emeralds spawn kind of in the same manner as other ores in Minecraft, well, at least in the sense that they're mineable ores, you can't really use them in any crafting recipes. This treatment of the emerald ore then kind of puts them in an undesirable situation, because I mean, why would you just dig one when you can go trade for a stack? And considering how Minecraft Dungeons actually has emerald armor, maybe we can get this, or maybe a recipe or something like that for the main game as well. If we were to get emerald tools, they would actually be probably stronger than iron, but not as strong as diamond, given that emeralds rank at an 8 on the Mohs scale and diamonds rank at a 10, Mohs standing for measurement of hardness scale, and given their spawning patterns, they would be difficult to come by until you had a villager trading hall, which after that you could basically just have a tool farm, which could slightly break the game, but given that you can also trade for diamond enchanted tools, maybe it wouldn't. And when I say that the generation for ores is weird, emerald ore attempts to generate 50 times per chunk in blobs of 1. So an ore vein for emerald is 1. From levels -16 to 320, being most common at level 256 and becoming less common towards either end of the range, going up or down. If you see a mountain that actually goes up to 256 or even past that, there's a high likelihood that there is at least a bit of an emerald there. because it also only spawns in desert biomes, or mountain biomes, not desert biomes, mountain biomes. Penultimately, in at number 2, Unity. I talked about how Minecraft's different versions are different in many ways, and an update that gave the two the same features would be wonderful and prevent confusion. However, why not take that a step further and make the game's cross-version as well? It's difficult since I don't think that Bedrock, aka Windows Edition, runs on Java, which is why this isn't really possible currently. However, you could do something like working a way to make the realms cross-version. Okay, that way, it's a separate entity that doesn't mess with either version, but you can make both of their coding systems work with it. It would be a lot of work and it would be difficult, but I've seen it done with certain server plugins. And let's be honest, Minecraft Realms needs something like that to actually make them worth it. Okay, I was paying around, it was either $11 or $15 a month for my realm, and none of my friends played on it, okay? But we stopped playing on it because it got boring. We couldn't have mods, we couldn't use plugins. If I wanted to add a data pack, I needed to download the world folder, add the data pack, and then re-upload it, which would take ages. But then I outsourced to an unofficial server hosting, and the service hasn't gone down. I can use mods on it, I can use custom and pre-made mod packs, and I can add plugins and whatever I want without much hassle, okay? Plus, it was the same price. I upgraded recently for more space, but I can have more than 11 people on the server, and anyone who wants to join can join it, including fans, since the IP is in my Discord server. So if Realms could do cross-version, it would definitely be a game changer for them. Maybe I would actually play on a realm for once. Well, for once. Again. And finally, in at number 1, the horror update. Now, Minecraft is a lot of things. People say that it is a lot of other things as well, but one thing that I don't hear much or at all really is that the game is scary. Sure, hardcore can be scary, but that's because if you die, your world is gone forever, not because of anything in the game. The warden was scary at first, but now we can distract it with a piston on an observer loop, so why not add a little something spookier to Minecraft for all the players who have grown up with the game and maybe want a little bit more spook in their world? Okay, the last update that wanted to add something scary was the interestingly named Pretty Scary update from 2010, over 8 years ago. Nearly 10 actually, since the Pretty Scary update was Minecraft version 1.4.2 and released on October 25th, 2012. This Halloween update added much of the iconic features now, which is zombie villagers, bats, command blocks, anvils, pumpkin pies, but it also added the wither skeletons, the beacon, and the wither boss, which is exactly what made this the Pretty Scary update. But Pretty Scary was fine back in 2012. It's 2022 now, okay? Give us the really scary update or the horror update and add some stuff that will actually make the adult players happy while keeping it rated E. There are certainly some things that you could add, okay? Like the stalking creepers or scary noises from the deep dark, the damn skulk sensors. Make it scary, okay? Make me scared of ancient cities again, because one stack of ender pearls and I'm pretty solid.